Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream. My name is Andy Park. I am the Director of Visual Development at Marvel Studios, and we're here live at Lightbox Expo online. And I hope all you artists, all you people that are attending this show are having a great time. We're going to be doing a portfolio review for all you budding artists, seasoned artists, whatever. Hopefully you get something out of it. So yeah, let's get started. Alrighty, so yeah, we're gonna be doing portfolio reviews, going through different artists, all the artists that have submitted. First of all, I want to thank everyone who submitted. We got so many entries, and I wish I can go over all of your portfolios, but obviously, then we'd be spending the next week. So thank you everyone who submitted, and if I didn't select you, then hopefully in the future, we can meet, or I'll definitely be doing like more of these kind of things in the near future. But in this next couple hours, you're going to be seeing a handful of artists ranging in different skill levels. We kind of set it up from like 0 to 2 years experience, 3 to 5 years experience, and then 5 to 10. So I think whoever's out there watching, I think you can get something out of it, because a lot of the advice, you'll hear similar things. But I think it's just hearing artists critique each other is always something that is helpful. Please keep in mind that this is just my opinion. What I say might be different from what another artist might say, and that's kind of the beauty of trying to get your work critiqued by various artists that you admire, that you respect, because you're going to hear different nuggets of wisdom, hopefully, and things that you can apply. So you're going to see a bunch of different ranges of styles. But yeah, let's jump right into it with our first guest. This guy, his name is John Cliff Alvarez. Let's bring him on. John. Hey, John.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry it took me so long to get back to you. I know you.
That's fine.
Concept Art Association, but yeah, you want to. So how many? Are you a professional? Are you a student? I don't know your background.
I actually don't have that much experience myself. I'm a full-time graphic designer. I've been pursuing this since college.
Okay.
I've had some experience doing some storyboarding.
Yeah.
There are some indie and documentaries. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And regarding your art, like, because you reached out to me wanting to get your art critiqued, like what are your objectives? Like, are you trying to be a concept artist? Like what's your objective?
Yes, I'm trying to be a character designer, actually.
Okay.
But working in the film industry or in the gaming industry, I've been using your career path as kind of a template. So I've been, trying everything,
okay.
Advice, trying to get my skill level up to a certain point. So
sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, we're gonna jump right into. I'm gonna share my screen. So I have your website, your ArtStation website here. Something that I'm gonna be saying a lot when it comes to an overall advice when it comes to portfolios is it's a good and a bad thing. Like our job as artists, it's a great thing because we're being judged on our art, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, people ask about the resume, or they ask about your, have you gone to college, that kind of stuff. This is the one field. It's similar to like an actor, or even maybe an athlete, where your resume, as far as your background, schooling, education, where did you go to school, all that kind of stuff, is definitely secondary, even tertiary, because at the end of the day, it's all about your abilities, right? Whether you're an athlete or you're an actor, because even if an actor never went to school and dropped out, if their acting ability is amazing, they're going to get a job. Same thing applies for art, right? Not to say it doesn't matter at all, but this is what we're being judged on. So I bring that up because at the end of the day, like someone in my position where I'm leading the visual development team at Marvel Studios on several projects and films. When we're looking to hire people, whether we are searching ourselves or we get a referral, so we get a website. So the first thing we're going to do is exactly what you're seeing here. I click on John's. Sorry, I meant to click on this on John's website. So this is going to be, everything is always about first impressions, right? So this is the first impression. So obviously off the bat, the first thing is going to be that you just need more stuff, right? Because there's only a handful of stuff. So that's going to show, whoever's looking at it that, okay, they don't have either that much experience or they're newer, that kind of thing. So just something to keep in mind, right? So let's look through some of this stuff. So this stuff is pretty cool. You got some characters here or a character here, and you did some paintings. So you started off this one with traditional. Is that traditional?
It's a mix, actually.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then you painted it in digitally, right? Yeah, that's what it seems like. And then some reference board. So that's cool. Let's just go through the other ones real fast. Just get an overview. I like this. Yeah, you have some good stuff going on. I like the what I really like about your work is, your research. You're doing a lot of like good research, and these are some preliminary sketches, some graphic takes. I see your graphic design skills come into play. And then this stuff is great. Your reference boards, your mood boards. One thing I'll say about this one, when I was looking at it, was there's something really cool about all this reference, but there's like a sleekness to all like a lot of these designs. And I think you have the shapes going on here, which are really cool. For me personally, and this is just, obviously somebody else might disagree. I feel like the sleekness gets lost here because of this texture. So the feeling that I get with this overcoat, or whatever you want to call it, a shawl, is it gets off a little bit of like a tablecloth kind of a feel, versus I feel like because you want her to be a warrior, and because looking at the reference that you have, it'd be cool to kind of get a little bit of that sophisticated sleekness, because when you have more this kind of texture, it makes it feel more fabricy, and I don't know, it just takes away from the sleekness that I feel like maybe you were going for. So that's one thing that I noticed. This is pretty cool. I love the pose. I love the pose. I think that's really strong. Your drawing skills, your posing skills is really good. And different hairstyles, all these variations are great. So this is like, I love this right here. I think you're really good when it comes to like the these, when these are kind of like flats, right?
Yeah.
Colors. So that looks really cool. Are these older drawings, by the way?
No, they're like a mix of just like really quick sketches, just to like kind of ideate the outfit.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah.
I see.
It's not so much focused on anatomy.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are just sketches. So things like that. So I think a reason why I say that is because these drawings are really strong.
Yeah.
And these are cool studies, but they're not as strong as this.
Yeah.
So something that I'm going to be saying to maybe other people as well is, in your portfolio, you only want to put in your most amazing work. Right. Because anything that's not as strong as your best stuff, people are going to remember the weaknesses. You know how that happens, like, in life too. Like you meet somebody, and then you have one negative experience, and then that covers all the positive stuff. So one thing I'll say about this one is, like, in your stuff, you have it's a little confused as far as like the rendering, because I think the flats right here are really strong, but here you start like really rendering, it's cool, but then the faces, this is not rendered, right? Like still in that flat stage. So I think because of that, it feels a little like confused. Like it's like either go more the flat way in graphic, or if you're gonna go the more rendered, then you need this face and this hand to kind of get to this level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I mean, you could argue that like how rendered this is, and then this is a little flat, but it's okay. I mean, this is cool. But again, out of all these when I'm scrolling, like this to me is the strongest. Like you really shine with this line art and this flat stage. So the same similar feel where this is not as strong as right above. These are fine, and then the reference is cool. So just keep that in mind. I think getting your rendering to be as strong as this. I don't know if you've ever heard that, if somebody's ever said like how strong your flat stuff is.
No, that would be actually the first time I've heard that.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's a common thing because rendering is hard, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to render for real. So this stuff is cool, like it's a pencil drawing, but then where it doesn't hold up as much as here, because here you're adding color, but it's like it's in that in-between stage of like, is it rendered? Like it needs like lighting, to get to a place where it feels real, versus it feels because of that it feels unfinished, here. So I think it's just working on the rendering. And then this one is it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I was looking at these roughs, so I like all these variation shapes. One thing to keep in mind is like I noticed that it's based off of this one, right? You can see can you see my mouse? Yeah, you can see my mouse.
Yeah.
Like, so I felt like this silhouette was stronger than the final, and that happens a lot. I'm gonna bring up Photoshop. Hold on a sec. Hide this. Oh no, don't click on that. Oh shoot. Where's Photoshop? Here we go. Okay. So, and then I overlaid it with the thing. So this one has this gesture, like the head's here, and then the waist is here, and then it gets this kind of gesture shape, right? But then when you go to this one, it almost is straight up and down, so you lose the energy that this one had because there's a gesture, and then because of this gesture, it also gets like you get some dimension. So this one feels like this piece right here feels like it's in front of this pelvis, like he's leaning forward, right? And then these arms feel like they're in front of that one. So you and it just doesn't become completely symmetrical. So this one has a strength that I feel like this one lost. And then it's even a little ambiguous whether or not this piece right here it probably is in front of this, but barely because of the lighting, So I think just be aware of that, like it happens a lot when, we start rendering. The other part of rendering that I would suggest is, I don't have the time to like sit here and like paint all over it, but is to be careful not to render everything to the same level. And you did a pretty good job because obviously the top areas here are all much brighter than down here. But I think exaggerating, that this is like shadowy under here, like even what I'm doing right now, like already brings this part forward, right? But if you did that, and this could go a little darker, like it doesn't have to go as bright. So you don't want these to be whites, right? So if I color that, look, this is my color picker, it gets to a white, So this is like essentially the same color as that. See that? So I think keeping those things in mind. So gesture, trying to get that, and then lighting. So yeah. Did you have any specific questions or anything?
I think it comes to like how much rendering is needed because sometimes, for example, when it comes to like, for example, like the last image that I have, when it comes to character expressions.
The last one, okay.
And then with these, like one thing I come across is over rendering an image, and then somehow it comes out flat.
Yeah, that's a common
Yeah.
struggle,
Mhm.
and it is trying to find the balance, because I think rendering is good, but there's a point when it becomes over rendered, and
Yeah.
then and I think your strength is more towards like the flats. Doesn't mean you shouldn't continually pursue rendering to a big to a nice degree, but this is really great, by the way.
No,
So
thanks.
I think this might be your strongest piece, because of the expressions. It's just, this drawing is really strong. Yeah, I think this is really good. And obviously it's in a totally different style. This stuff has this stuff is great too. I think it's really just the rendering, right? Like either getting this to feel more rendered in the same vein as this. Another thing, just be careful, because once it starts getting fussy in here, where it goes, gets all these highlights. So since there's so many highlights and going to dark, so highlight to dark, highlight to dark, highlight to dark, it starts undulating. Like the forms are like, what's going on? Is it like really, are the forms really undulating that much?
Right.
Versus it's probably more smoother, and then it goes to this really dark area. So be careful of just the rendering. But I think the last thing I'll say was on this one. Just be careful. I don't know if it's intentional, but here, let me just bring in this Photoshop real fast. I'm trying to be cognizant of time, because I know each we don't have like a ton amount of time per artist, but I want to also give what is that? I want to give you a good. So is this intentional that you're like? You tell me. But for me, what I see in this face are like the eyes are very, very kind of close together. But I don't know if that was intentional, like if that's a character thing you're doing. But is that intentional?
It could probably be a perspective issue.
Okay.
Like, yeah, because at the same time I'm thinking anatomy, but I'm also thinking like technical, how like the structure of the cow falls on the face, and trying to imagine it in 3D.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Like even what I did right now, I feel like helps it a little bit. But I think even because he's a character, it depends on what kind of character you want to create. But I feel like a lot of times, especially with this thing right here, you want him to be intimidating a little bit, but it doesn't come off that way. So, oh shoot, hold on, I need to do this. Let me just liquefy this whole head and push and pull. So something, I feel like just a few adjustments would just make this character a little stronger, because right now because of the way his eyes are shaped, the brows, like he comes off very like non-threatening. And I feel like if he's a hero character, you kind of want him to be a little bit like stronger looking. Oops. Let's see. And then the neck can be. Oh, I didn't really copy his neck so much, but so I can't. Oh, it does reach down here. Oh, I didn't reach down there. But you can't. This is obviously. I did that really fast, but you can just see. Oh, hold on. Let's go from the original. This is the original that you did, and here's the. So it's just giving off more of a strength. Again, that's why I asked you in the beginning. Like maybe there's some real reason why, you wanted him to feel kind of more innocent and not as intimidating. But if that was the intention, then just something to keep in mind, like to convey that kind of strength. But yeah. Did you have any more questions?
Oh, I have a bunch. Yeah, I mean, that's very helpful information, actually, and I greatly appreciate it. I can always go over these pieces and rework them. I'm also working on a new portfolio, and I'll be constantly like uploading like new stuff constantly. So
yeah, actually, I mean, it's always okay to go back to old stuff, but my main suggestion is to create new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing that we can do as young artists, is like we hold on to like certain pieces because it took so long to get that one piece. So you start like staying on that one piece, but then by the end of the after a year, like you still will only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces on your portfolio, right?
Yeah.
And
no, I've deleted a bunch, and like I'm my worst critic, so I'm constantly like, oh, can I get better? And
and totally, I think it's just mileage. And I think I went on your Instagram and you have all this like stylized kind of drawing stuff, right? Was that and that stuff is cool, but because obviously you said you wanted to get into like concept art, that kind of stuff, so this is going in that right direction. But yeah, you're going in the right direction. You have the drawing skills. And whether you want to go into animation or live action, you kind of can go either way because you have strong animation stuff over there, the characters, and you're going in the right direction for live action as well, or video games.
Great.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. I think we probably should move to the next artist, but keep in touch. I hope this was helpful, and good luck. Good luck on your continued pursuits.
Thanks, Andy. Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye. Next, do we have Benjamin here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, so Benjamin, you said you're switching your career. Tell me a little bit about what's your goal? What are you pursuing?
Yeah. Well, actually, I met you a few years ago at LA Comic Con.
The first one.
Yeah, you were raffling off Wacom, and I won it. And then the following year,
you were with your dad.
Yeah, that was me. And then the following year, I won the poster from Ryan.
Keep on winning.
So I'm back again.
Wow. Okay. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. After chatting with you and Ryan, I decided to shift careers. So I used to work like in the hotel industry or in the magazine industry, and now I'm trying to pursue a line in visual development, basically.
Nice. That's awesome. I got to see your origins when you got your first Wacom tablet.
Yeah.
Wow. I gave that to you.
You contributed. I still have it, but I've leveled up already to a Cintiq. But yeah.
Wow.
It got me far.
Wow.
So
I don't even have a Cintiq. I use a Wacom tablet, by the way. Okay. Well, let's. I guess we can now. I'm glad you're here. I didn't realize you were that Benjamin. So nice to see you again. Yeah. Let's jump into your portfolio. But the first thing. So again, first impressions, right? This is the page of your website. Is this your own website or is this ArtStation?
Yeah, that's an ArtStation website.
Okay. So this is your website. So this is going to be crucial for all you artists out there. You want to curate this and make this like that first impression, like just like when you go on a date, like you want to make yourself look as good as possible, present yourself well, because that first impression is only once. And a lot of art directors and people who are in positions of hiring, they'll look at something like in a second and be like, okay, like, and they'll make a judgment off of thumbnails. So that's something I don't know if you've heard before, but that thumbnails, just looking at from this level, I didn't even click on anything. That this is what people normally do. They'll just scroll through it and decide if they want to move on or if they want to click on anything. So if I, so for off the bat, I would say overall, very cool stuff. I would say, the other thing that I would say for portfolios is you want to show in your portfolio page, the main portfolio page, what kind of artist you want to be and what you're telling the clients that you want to, what kind of work you want to do. So it has to be very clear, right? So not to say you can't have a variety of stuff, but like for me, if I'm going to be applying for a job, like my front page is going to be similar to my ArtStation page, where it's going to be all characters and some keyframes. Like this is very clear. Like when they go to Andy Park Art, they're like, okay, he's a character artist. He does a lot of costume stuff. He does keyframes, lots of superheroes, but he also does creatures from God of War, that kind of thing. So it's very clear. This is pretty good. It's pretty good. I think this stuff maybe, even though it's cool, the drawings, but this is more. It's almost like more personal artwork, right?
Yeah.
So I would consider not having this in the homepage.
Okay.
Stuff like this as well, especially if you're trying to get into, maybe even the sketches. But stuff like this one right here, this one, probably not this one, because even though it's good, it's not like a, one of your strongest pieces, right?
Okay.
And stuff like this too. It's like, it's not, these are informational, like, maybe I'll click on it. Well, I guess since we're looking at the overall, I should stay on the overall. Oh shoot, let me go back. Since I'm talking about the overall, just stuff to like remove in the overall, like stuff like this. This is all like prop stuff, which is cool, but you want to wow them, right? So for me, when I looked at your portfolio, these right here were my favorite. These were some of my favorites, these cartoony characters. This was great. This is getting there, and these two are cool. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about, so this one's awesome, by the way. Let me see. Let's click on it. So I think the rendering can be a little like can get stronger, but it's not bad at all. Like, but this right here, like these drawings right here are like really great. The silhouette, the pose is great. And the rendering is not bad at all. Like the rendering is actually really pretty cool. But I think as you grow, like, you'll be able to like take this rendering and make it like shine, because that's the goal eventually. Like you want to have, let me see. Oh yeah, this stuff is great too. So all these drawings are great. This is the selling point, and these over here are all the supportive. Versus right now, I like these drawings the best. Then I like this. Okay. So eventually you want that to be switched, right? But so maybe it's like, it's partly it's rendering, partly it's maybe like subtle highlights or rim light, just to like make it more dramatic, things like that. Something like this, I was looking at. Oh, did I click on it? Be careful. Like this is cool. And the drawings are cool. Similar to what I was saying to the last artist, John. Like I think that the flat, this is really cool. Like all this stuff is really cool, and this is cool too. Like, and this is pretty good too. I like this. I think I would just be careful to like, people can have a tendency to like, you have this rim light, this backlight, but then you do it universally the same quality all the way down. So to feel a little bit more realistic, usually this will only happen if you have like a light box that is emitting this blue light from the ground all the way up to here, right? Normally, when you're backlit like this, it's usually a window, or it's a light, from the ceiling, or it's, a doorway or something like, so the light will predominantly be hitting, because it's usually from the sun, or a light from the ceiling or something. It's going to be from the top down, right? Yeah. So these highlights or these rim lights can be strongest here, and it can fade off, right? So that's a simple thing to do. I wanted to talk about one other thing. This one. Go internet. Okay, copy image. I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. Okay, let me close out of these. Okay, so new. Okay, so this piece right here, I feel like this is a cool piece, and it has all the beginnings of something really cool, but I think compositionally it gets a little, one thing that is another common thing that I see amongst artists is things tend to be very just like straight, right? Everything's like straight. And then when things are just straight, I mean, this guy's cool because he's not just straight, but the background is very straight, right? Can't control Photoshop. So because of this, there's a stiffness, or it becomes static, So that's one aspect. The other aspect is like the main focus of this piece. I think your intention is this, correct?
Yeah.
But right now, the main focus is this. Okay. Like this is where if this is where I go to a lot. It goes here quickly, but so that's another thing. The other thing, compositionally speaking, you heard of the rule of thirds, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you do third, you break it into three. So maybe it would have been a good idea to put this guy closer to here. It doesn't have to always be exactly on it, but at least closer. And the other reason for doing that is because all the direction, all the energy is going this way, and then it comes to him, but then it also goes out. So because there's this empty negative space over here, so it falls off. So I think with all that said, some quick fixes could be, as simple as moving it here. And then the other thing to do, even that alone, like if you guys don't do this, do this all the time, I always flip, because if you look at that, it feels like that there's like something here that I kind of want to look at, but because he's also looking this way too. So all this energy and the lighting is right here is going over to this place that you don't want the eye going. So push him over here. So that's one thing, but I think there also needs to be some element of something that stops the eye from continuing over here, so
out of the canvas.
something that'll bring the eye from here to here, and even if it wants to go here, it'll come back to here, that whole idea. And then I think the last thing that could be a good thing, because you want to bring some attention away from here, is playing with even angling, right? Doing some Dutch. Let me see. Oops. So sometimes, let me see if that works. I'm doing these things not knowing exactly. Yeah. So I think that's another thing, because like this still has the problem of straight up and down. Once you Dutch it a little bit, like you already have this like energy that kind of does this, right? Or goes this way. Lines. Yeah, everything's kind of going, you want your eyes to kind of flow up. He's already pointing this way, right? So you want as many things. There could be some element that subtly points in this direction, right? To bring the eyes here, right? Yeah. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does actually.
Okay, great. I'm gonna close out of this one. Okay. How are we doing on time, Sean and Adam? Oh, sorry. I forgot in the beginning. I wanted to I totally forgot to introduce two moderators. So we have two moderators today helping me out. We have Sean from the MCU Fan Show podcast, as well as Adam from Heroes Reforged. It's a YouTube channel. Go check it out. Adam from Heroes Reforged, Sean from the MCU Fan Show podcast. They're helping me out. So thank you so much, guys. Sorry I didn't mention it in the beginning. But yeah, going back to Ben, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, it's just so I wanted to tailor my portfolio more towards like visual development for film or video games. So I wanted to get your insight on what other types of pieces I should focus on in terms of the ones that are already there and the ones that I want to create moving forward.
Okay. For films or video game, I would say, because right now your portfolio, I would say, is more geared towards animation.
Yeah.
Right? Because your style is more cartoony, animated films, if that's what you meant, potentially, but video games as well. So wait, when you say films, do you mean animated films?
Animated or live action. I know I have to work on my live action rendering skills, but yeah, animation, yes. I'm open to both.
Okay. Well, live action, definitely, then you need to show, because right now your portfolio doesn't show that you're a live action artist, because you're not showing anything like full realism and designs. This definitely goes towards animation, but I would try to really hone in your portfolio to be like, what kind of artist do you want to be in animation or video games? Like, if you want to be a character designer, then you need more like character designs, right? That really show off like this stuff. This stuff is great. Oh, by the way, this one's awesome. I forgot to mention this one. This one I think might be your best piece.
Thank you.
So this should be highlighted first and foremost in your portfolio. I think you can play with this rendering in the background even more. It's nice, and I like that it's subtle, but I think it could be moodier, right? So it doesn't have to go brighter, not necessarily. It could be darker, right? So it could be like that's the moonlight shining on her, and the rest goes pretty dark. It doesn't have to go, but maybe a little bit like dark like this. But great gesture, great drawing. Yeah, look, the flow. This is really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I would really try to focus your portfolio to what you're trying to get, because it does feel more animation, and if it is video games, you're very stylized. You have this style. So the hard part about getting into any particular job is for a video game, like let's say God of War, Sony Santa Monica is looking for artists. Like, this is not a portfolio to do. It doesn't show that you can do that style, which is more of the realistic fantasy style. But even like a company like League of Legends, they all have particular styles, right? So that's why I said yours is more towards like animation, because I'm not totally versed in video games, but I don't remember like a lot of video games with this kind of style. I would love it, but just keeping that in mind, because when companies are looking to hire, they look for people that want to hire people that does something similar to them. So research the companies that you want to work at, and then start kind of catering your portfolio towards that style.
Got it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben. I know I'm going way over on each artist, so I need to kind of speed it up a little bit. But thank you so much. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you. Nice seeing you again.
Yeah, I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, who do we have next? We have Jenny, I think. Jenny. Are you there, Jenny? Wait, is Jenny not here? Maybe not. Okay, who's next? Is it Yihao? We'll come back to Jenny. Yihao, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, so I need to be more cognizant on time, because I think I'm going way over on artists. But Yihao, you said you have 0 to 2 years experience. Is that true?
I just recently graduated from Arsenal.
Oh, nice.
And working freelance.
Oh, okay. And what do you want to do?
I want to pursue a career similar to yours. I'm really interested in become a Vis Dev artist at Marvel. So definitely, nice. I'm currently preparing another like new pieces that's the styles more dedicated, more similar to other artists at Marvel. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, great. That's my can I call it my alma mater? Because I did go to Art Center, but I did not graduate. I went there for 5 terms. I had 3 more to graduate, but I left before that. But congratulations.
Yeah. Peter Hunt tells a lot of stories about you and Ryan.
Peter Hunt. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he teaches. He's amazing. But off the bat, you have a great portfolio. This is really, I think this is your strongest piece right here. This is really great. But I think did I read on your art station that this is like a collaboration?
Oh, it's not a collaboration.
Oh, okay. So this one's really strong. I really like this one. The figures are really strong. The storytelling, the composition's really great. The one thing that bugs me, because it's such a strong piece, is this right here. Oh wait. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, you know what? So this is okay. So this, I guess, it further illustrates my point. For some reason, I thought this was a ship that he was riding, like kind of like this flying motorcycle ship that he was flying. Mm-hmm. I think right now I'm just figuring out that this is her gun.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I think that needs to be fixed somehow, because I don't know why I just figured that out now, because I was gonna say it looks like she's holding this ship.
Yeah.
But I think that's why. So that's a problem, because if the viewer is confused, then you want to fix that. And partly it's you have this lighting here, this rim light. So there's a separation from this to this. Whereas if she's holding this is actually literally touching her, or essentially touching her body. And you got the strong light here. So there should be a blue here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then here, I don't know if there would be, I guess there would be a little bit from here, but yeah, just make this feel like she's actually holding it, because right now there's something, odd about it. But that's my favorite piece. Something about this, something that I see consistently in your work that you want to be careful of is, and I know a lot of young artists and just artists in general will do, is the tendency to over render everything or have so much detail everywhere. So what you've heard about the squint test, right? When it comes to your pieces, like you want to squint, and then that should, and it's the same thing as a thumbnail. Your thumbnail should be clear, or for the most part clear and understandable, and should be a nice image. When I squint at this piece, there's a lot of things going on, and I can't tell what I'm looking at here. Like, is this a mountain range? Obviously, I know it's a dragon, but the rendering is just, it gets excessive everywhere. So it's hard to tell, like, what is this right here? Like, I think that's his back leg, but I can't really tell. But because this is treated the same way as this is treated the same way as this thing in the background. And then this is treated the same as this. And even this piece right here is treated the same as this. And this other dragon, which is very far away, has the same quality as this, and even pretty much the same value, right? So this one gets really like hard to look at. So just playing with detail and values, right?
Yeah.
Same thing applies with this, where the amount of detail you have, because there's a lot of strong things going on here, and I think this could become a really great piece, but I think it just gets overly like rendered everywhere, where the treatment that you have on this shoulder piece is exact same quality as this, exact same quality as this background, exact same quality is way down here. This is not important at all right here, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff needs to fall off, and it does because of the shadow or the values, but you don't need to be like painting like the same amount of details here. And if anything, it'll hurt the piece. Other thing to keep in mind is it gets really confusing in the shoulder area, because I'm not sure if this thing right here is part of the chair or if that's actually his armor. But I would try to fix, and because his shoulder's down here, but his shoulder armor goes up, then it could read like his shoulder's way up here and his arm goes down here,
Yeah.
So this one is similar. Like, it's better that things aren't as detailed around the edges, but if I squint at this, it's really hard to tell what's going on in this piece. Like, it's almost hard to tell like that this is actually the head. Like, if you just squint at it really hard, like you might think that this is the head of some robot or something. So keep all that in mind. Like, just to kind of back off a little bit on not focus so much on the detail. But first, you need to get the foundation of the readability of an image, the composition, because then you also have things like this hand is like really big over here, and it's just confusing on what's going on. These are pretty cool. This is probably my favorite, not my favorite, my second favorite. Like, this is really strong. This is great. The focal point is great. It's not overly detailed. There's a softness to it. This is really strong. Yeah, and then this one, I just want to do something real quick. Oh, I can't save this. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste this real fast. Photoshop, open, desktop. Okay, I need to finish this fast, I know. So be careful of anatomy and figure work, because right here you have this, her torso's right here, and it's facing this way. But then you have her, I used to use a different color. You have her torso facing, this is a rib cage this way. This is too extreme. That's too extreme. So it gives the body like it's breaking. If you want to keep with this anatomy, then if the rib cages are over here, the torso, you want to, this has to bend towards her hip, and this hip most likely, because of how extremely this is turned, will not be facing this way. It'll be facing either more towards us or a little bit that way. So her hips would be a little bit, her legs can turn this way, like what you're doing right here, but her hips would essentially be doing a little bit more like this. This is her crotch area. And then that's her stomach. Oh, here's the rib cage. And then the muscles will go this way. So does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
But because of the armor, and it might even be doing, no, it isn't doing that because of the way you did the pants. But the armor, even then, that needs to turn, because the armor would turn according to the pelvis bones. So cool. I think that is good. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
But keep in touch. Do the stuff that you said you're going to do, and then maybe one day we will work together.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Robin is next, right? Hi, Robin.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. So you in the submissions, you said you were 0 to 2 years experience as well. Like, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I've recently graduated. I did game art or creative media and game technologies. So, yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, holy cow. When I saw your portfolio and it was under the 0 to 2 years, I was like, either she's lying.
No, I'm not.
And I'm not accusing you, but I say that because this is an impressive portfolio.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, just off the bat, I talked about first impressions. Here's a good example, everyone, of like, bam, I clicked on, okay, somebody says, hey, I know this one, or I've seen this one artist named Robin Bunacker, and here's the link. I click on it, and immediately I'm like, interested. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So yeah, if this is your schoolwork, then I want to go to that school.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, yeah, this is really impressive. What are your goals? Like, what do you want to be?
Well, as you can maybe see, my passion is creature design.
Yes, that's clear. Yes.
And I do both concept art and 3D modeling. So my ultimate goal is, like, I would love to be a freelance artist working on maybe films or game and designing or sculpting creatures.
Okay. And you're not working anywhere right now?
No.
Okay, if you're not working within the next couple months, I am going to be shocked, because let me show people some stuff that you're doing here. But it is really amazing. So that's the other thing about doing this portfolio review, why I wanted to do it, because it's also not only helping artists and critiquing, but it's also a showcase. Like, I know other people are watching, so I would love to give other artists like yourself, opportunities to be seen, and hopefully get a job, right? But
Yeah.
this stuff is cool. Like, yeah, and then you're 3D modeling it, which is great stuff. Great illustration right here, and very creative design. And then your exploration. This is cool. I love this, by the way. I don't really know what this is, but this composition, the lighting, the drawing. Wow. Is that 2D or 3D?
It's this one is a mix of 3D and 2D, so a basic 3D model with some painting on top of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. Awesome. Great. So yours is going to be less of a critique and more of the showcase that I mentioned. I have a few things to say, but not much, because your stuff is really strong, and it really is just a matter of getting your stuff in front of people to see. One thing I will say, like you said, you said you wanted to get more into live action or animation or video games. What's your preference if you have one?
I don't really have one, either
Okay.
film or game. It's
Okay. So for film, I think because I could see yourself in any of those three categories: video games, animated features, or live action. This might be your one of if not my favorite piece. But even just the way you did this and posed him and or her, amazing. And then the bouquet, it's so good. Yeah, this character is cool. I will say one thing, like your style, you have a little bit of a style where it's slightly cartoony, right? So if you do want to get into live action, I feel like a lot of your stuff, you just need to bring. You have some dinosaurs that feel like a little bit more like real, like live action-y. Like this, I could imagine in a whatever DreamWorks, like that How to Train Your Dragon, like in that level. Because I think it's in the the texture, so it has a little bit of a cartoony, not as like this is actually a real like thing that you would see running around. And then you did this.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I did a little animation for my school, so
that is insane. That is, good things are coming your way. This one I feel like is, compared to other stuff, is not as strong because it feels a little rubbery. Like you're losing a little bit of like the anatomy or structure. But I think that's just a minor critique on that one. But I think just because all the other ones are impeccable. So and then your design sense is great. Oh, love that. So good. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this is the stuff. So I think people should check out your stuff. Like this is the one that like could be How to Train Your Dragons, How to Train Your Dragon, dragons. Yeah, this one's great here. So I think it's mainly that. Like I don't see anything that's like, oh, you need to fix that. It's really just down to, if you do want to get to live action, like like the Avatar films, trying to bring it just a little bit more into a realism, because it does get a little like cartoony. I love it. I love that it's cartoony. That's why you could do animation too. It's really cool. The one thing I will say, so you're a creature person, like obviously the one thing about creature people or people who do creature designs is that it's going to be very specific. So you're going to have to find jobs that have creatures. When it comes to live action, like think about the past 10 movies that have come out this year or just in the past 2 years. Like how many creatures can you count on your hand that have been in that film? Like there's been some, but there's not like a ton of like creature design work, right?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. So it doesn't hurt to diversify your, doing more humanoid creatures, aliens, and I think that'll be easy for you to do, right? Because there's a lot of aliens and there's a lot of like for Guardians of the Galaxy, there's like these, strange creature-esque, but they're humanoid. So I would suggest going in that direction, like as well. You already have this down, all these creatures. Start diversifying, adding some humanoid, so that you're just upping your chances of getting a job.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, but amazing work. You're not gonna have any problems. Please let me know when you do get a job. I'd love to, and I'll definitely keep you in mind as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming by, Ramen.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Next up, I think Jenny is here, right? Let me see. I'm getting a text message.
Hi, Andy. I'm here.
Hey, Jenny.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Sorry, I think you were locked out of the waiting room for a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Couldn't get in.
Yeah. But thanks for coming by. Thanks for submitting. So tell me, like,
Sure.
what are your goals? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, so I'm currently in Canada and I have 1 year experience in mobile games so far, but I would like to expand even more on bigger games and bigger projects. That is my goal.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was looking at this, and I don't know if you've been hearing what I've been saying. So the first impression is always like that, so important, right? And
Yes.
you're definitely, on your way, right? Obviously, you need more stuff, right? Like eventually, I want to see all this stuff filled in here, right?
Yeah, sure.
But you made a good decision. This first piece is probably your best piece. Yes, maybe not probably. Like, this is great. The mood, feel. I don't even know what's going on, and I don't understand what this is, but that's okay. Like, that's what's great about it. Like, it makes me want to know, are these, like, is something scary happening back there? Like, I see a gun here, but these don't look like normal humans. And then why is he sitting so calmly, and why does he have wings? This is great. So this accomplishes everything that this kind of keyframe should convey. And then you have these amazing, really cool feel of whatever these are. But I want to see this movie and, like, wow, that is like, whew, yeah.
Creepy stuff. Yeah.
Is it just personal work?
That's just personal work. Yeah, like all on this personal work and graduation projects and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's great. And I just read it, Vaguely Human. Oh, okay, that's perfect. Name of that. Let's see. And the other thing I noticed about your work is, let's see, your drawings are some of my favorite things. Like especially this one, more than the one we just saw. But like this stuff is cool. These drawings are really cool. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm also more on like character design, so I prefer to draw people the most.
Yeah, me too. But this is really strong. These drawings, these are great. These are great drawings. I love it.
Thanks.
And then this goes along with your creepy moods that you create, which are really, really cool. Like I don't
moody stuff.
Yeah, it's great because I don't understand this, but that's when I say that, it's not a criticism at all. It's actually a compliment because you did it in a way where it's intriguing rather than you don't want to have like, I don't understand this. You don't want that, right? But I'm not saying that.
Yes.
Okay, so
goal achieved. Yeah.
So going to here, like and this is similar to somebody, I forgot who was. I think it was John in the beginning, where the drawings and the flats are really strong. And then I think you just need to get your rendering and the painting, the final thing, for this to be stronger than the preliminaries or the subsequent drawings. And there's little things here, like with this leg. This leg is forward, right?
Yeah.
And then, but this hand, this arm looks like it's going backwards. But if this one's going forward, then this one should be going forward as well. But this one looks like it's going forward. So little things like that. Yeah, because and you could also see like this one's lower than that hand. So this one looks like it's going
above the cloth. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to alternate, right? And it made like a little short. But I think it's getting there. I think the designs, it's pretty cool. It's a little confusing, like this branch thing, what that is, because it just feels like a branch. And then this kind of stuff, I think it's going in a good direction, but I think you just need to eventually render out, so spell out exactly like what is this thing, so just continually doing that. That's cool. I want to same thing with here. I think the strongest thing here, I think, is the line drawing, this and these. This is not bad at all, so don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I want this to be just a hair stronger so that this is the thing that I'm most impressed with. And then these are just supplemental stuff, right? So this is a good example. Like this is your main selling point, right?
Yes.
But for me, I like this the best.
Okay,
so it's not just, I know. So there's a couple reasons. One, here I see the design, and one, I see these wings and the way you attach them. and it's so cool. And then you also have this gesture and then this long fin. So this design is really cool. When I go here, I don't get the same sense that these wings are that, because
it gets a little bit lost.
It just it loses, because look, it connects to her forearm. Here it just kind of connects to the elbow, but you don't really see that it connects up here. And then you don't see the fins. So yeah, I think it's just keeping that in mind, where I think generally speaking, like, this feels stronger, but this needs to be the most strong, because that's the stuff that sells. And the same thing happens here, where I think this painting is not bad at all. It's pretty cool, but this sells the design, just like in that last piece. Like, I see this and I'm like, this is a really cool design. And for some reason, I don't get that same feel when I see this, because this feels a little bit more generic, because it's like, oh, just it's a humanoid body. But here, what's interesting about this is this silhouette, this back piece, it almost doesn't just feel like one body with heads. This feels like just one body, and these guys are just hanging out on her shoulder. But this feels like these are all also part, like, which one's the main one? Obviously, you could tell it's that. And then you have all these crab legs that are very interesting. I think it's the spine so much that makes this one interesting, this design, and this back leg, how big it is. But you're getting that same effect as the one before, where this doesn't sell the amazingness of this design. So I'd rather just see a painting of this in this underwater, and this could be a supplemental drawing. Yeah, it really is. When it comes to concept art, it's the art of the cell, right? Because at the end of the day, most producers and directors, when they look at any person, when they look at a piece, they first react to it emotionally, right? Because they're like, it's all about that first impression again. So when they see something, they're like, oh, that's cool. And then they have to think in their head intellectually, why do I like this? Right? But you need them to get that. Yeah, you need to get them to get that reaction of like, ooh, this is cool. I like that. And then when they see this, they could be like, oh, that's cool. That. But right now it's a little reversed, at least in my opinion.
I see. It's a line art that's more impressive right now.
It's the line art, but it's also the design, because you have these two have really cool designs that I feel like are not being conveyed in these two paintings. But these two paintings are not, don't get me wrong, they're not bad at all. It's just that I see the potential. I see the potential. Yeah, you understand. But okay, I think
designs that they're more looking at. It's also for concept art, right? Like, not illustration for the job, so they want to see the designs more.
Yeah. No. Don't get me wrong. I think.
Huh? Okay.
So I think. Wait. Say that again. What you just said.
Like, for concept art jobs, they're more looking for the concept itself, right? Not the illustration, like how nicely painted it is.
Well, I will answer that in this way, because that's one thing I don't think I brought up yet. But a lot of people have pieces. Like, do you have one in here? A lot of you have pieces that are like, let's see. Oh, it's similar to this. I'll say it like this. So I'm seeing a lot of this kind of stuff. So I feel like this is a school thing. And I could be wrong, but
I mean, this one actually is, so you're not wrong.
It is, right?
Yeah, that's a graduation school project.
Oh, where did you go to school, by the way?
It's in studio. It's like in Canada, in Montreal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think that's probably why, because it does feel like students like do this where they, and maybe it's taught that way.
The teacher says to you, like, you need to do this brief, like, take this IP, do a character, do it like in a different style or different setting, and then you do like one view in the front, like back view and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is necessary, but I think when it comes to like my job or most concept art jobs that when I was working at God of War, like, I don't present it like this. What I present is because all that stuff is informational, but like I mentioned, the bottom line is you want to get that reaction. So that reaction is this, when I see this piece, and then later you can, actually this is a keyframe, so it's different than a character design, right? So this piece should be that piece to sell the character. And then after they like this further, solidifies what they're seeing. But so I think it is the illustration is very important, because I think this is more the first.
Yeah,
this
to sell
should be
it more.
Yeah, this should be the first impression. So right now it's it's very close. Like I think it's just finding a shot that sells your designs, because this you're not showing the tail, you're not showing the back legs. So finding something even more just side view, because I think that's the strength of the design, is this curve that I'm doing right now. Like that is the strength. Here you can't get that here, right? You get a different curve, but that's not what's strong about this piece. Is this. So okay, well, I hope that helps.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. It helped a lot.
Yeah, but keep up the great work. Definitely, I'd love to see your stuff continue to grow, and I suspect that you'll have a great career.
Yeah, thanks for reviewing.
Okay, thanks, Jenny.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Okay. Next is Jess Soto. I think I'm right.
Hello.
Hi, Jess. How's it going?
Hi. How are you?
Good. Just 1 second. Adam and Sean, like, how many did we go through and how many are left? Just so I'm aware of the, pace and all that stuff. You can jump in or something. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
There you are. Yeah.
This will be the 6th one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Jess, how are you doing? Tell us a little bit like what your goals are as an artist, or what you're going towards.
I basically want to do studio work for games, and then I've also been eyeing live action a bit recently.
Nice. Okay, games and live action. Have you been working?
I've mostly just been doing like contract work for indie games.
Okay, for games, not live action yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're looking at your artwork now. Yeah, overall, like I talked about the first impression. This gives a good first impression. Really strong work overall. You definitely have a style, right? Which is great, because all the artists that we love and admire, like Brahm or whoever, right? Like Phil Hale, like they have this certain style, right? But the one thing about style that I will speak on is, even though it's great in a concept art setting, whether it's video games or live action, is that if your style is so strong, it's going to make it challenging, because that game usually, or whoever's trying to hire you, will think, oh, all they can do is that style, versus, let's say, I'll speak to live action. So let's say, let's just speak for Marvel, right? So like, oh, we're looking for someone who can do superhero costumes, real world costumes, because there's a little bit of both. So we're looking for artists. So a lot of times companies will look, and even if they find an artist that's really great, like your portfolio looks really cool, it doesn't show that you can do a different style, because your style has more of that little bit of an anime feel. If you disagree or not, but like this kind of stuff, like the way you draw faces, these are great, by the way. These are really cool, but they're definitely in the more stylized anime vein. So I think part of it is showing that you can do other styles. You can do realism, like a real actor, right? Or a real. So and then a lot of video games, even though they're stylized, they're more realistic, right? Like a God of War game, that kind of thing. So showing that you can do different faces, different styles. I think also a lot of your work here, it almost feels like it's like the same game. Like this is a portfolio for one particular game. So that's the other thing, that I think your stuff is so good, but I think you just need to show that you can do other things. This one definitely starts to go there, right? Like this is like, oh, there you go. Like this feels very different from all the rest of your stuff. So this is great. So if you have more stuff like this, and then do stuff where it's like a real person, or not, you know what I mean when I say real person, like a non-stylized person. But this one's amazing. This is really cool right here. Yeah, I love that. This one, I think this should be the selling point right here, and then all this stuff can be supplemental. So I'll start off with that like this. I would start off with that because that is nice and that's a selling point. So that, because it's the way it's set up, it makes it feel a little bit like a student, you know, because that's what a lot of students will do. So that's cool. This is a really cool. You like cats?
It was my freelance work. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are great. Yeah. Okay, so that game has cats. Nice. Yeah, this is cool. Wow, I like that hairstyle. So do you have, I think that was my main thing, because it really is just coming down to diversifying, especially if you want to get into live action. But did you have any other specific questions? Like, this is great.
I guess like the whole conversation of something that's more quote unquote realistic, I guess like, I guess how would you go about doing that, I guess? Because I feel like realism is like very, because arguably, like, I've heard people say my stuff is realistic, but obviously, like, you know, there are people like you who say otherwise, so.
No, so yeah, don't get me wrong. Your stuff is like this. This is realistic, you know?
Yeah.
So the only thing I'd say is I think it just comes down to the faces, right?
Faces. Okay.
So I don't want you to misinterpret me. I love your style, right? But I'm merely speaking from the angle of, you said you wanted to get into live action or video games. So there's plenty of video games that have a little bit of this kind of more anime face style, like this. I love this. Like this right here, I'm clicking on it. There's always like a little delay. Like this is amazing. Like I love this stuff up here, and I love anime style. You know, this has a little bit of that. So do you follow or do you know Stanley Lau?
Stanley Lau, yeah.
You know him, right? So he predominantly has an anime style to all his drawings, right? But if you've seen, like, he's done also drawings of like Gal Gadot. He's done those charcoal drawings, and they're like completely realistic. They don't look like a anime version of Gal Gadot, which is what he normally does, right? Do you remember that?
I think I do.
Yeah, if not, you can look that up. But so that's an example of like, if he wanted to get into live action, like he's shown like he can do like a realistic face. It doesn't always have to just be like an anime face. Because obviously in my job, I'm painting Brie Larson, I'm painting Paul Rudd, you know, I'm painting like real actors. So I can't be stylized versions of them. Like it's gonna be, it almost looks like a photo, right? So that's the only thing. And I know you can totally do that, because everything else, your style, that's the thing. Like your stuff is so great. That's the only critique I have for you, because everything else is great.
I think it's like, sorry. So would you say it's more like I don't know, from like a rendering standpoint, like lighting choices and stuff like that, other than like, say, you said faces, those shapes and stuff like that as well? Yeah.
No, not lighting, none of that. It's not even rendering. It's just I guess it's the drawing of the face, you know?
Yeah.
Because they all have like shapes, I guess, but it's I don't know how else but it's the way you draw faces. They have the I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty much like that's why Stanley Lau, I think, is a good example, because if you see his paintings, they have like a anime-ish look to it, but then he's shown that he can do, if he really needs to, like look at his charcoal drawings that he's done he's done other besides Gal Gadot, but those look like a realistic versus compare his Gal Gadot Wonder Woman to his most recent Wonder Woman covers. His most recent Wonder Woman covers have more of an anime feel, and he's rendering them realistically, and they're amazing, but they're not a real actor, or they're stylized. That's kind of the point.
Okay.
So that's that, and the only other thing is diversifying your genre, your style, your conceptual designs, because right now it does kind of look like all of this could be in the same like one video game. So you want to show like you can do fantasy, you can do superhero, you can do real world, like soldiers, because right now they're all kind of very awesomely stylized, but in this, I don't know how you want to describe it. It's not goth, but it's whatever. Yeah, this style. But does that make sense too?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions before we move on?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, again, really strong stuff, Jess. I hope that helped a bit. But yeah, you have great stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna have a great career.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Who do we have next? You can bring them on, and then I think it's. Yeah, I'm right. Wait. Sorry. Hi.
Hi.
Grisha?
Great. Yeah, Greece, like the country.
Greece.
Yeah.
Okay. How's it going?
Fine, and you?
I'm doing well. Okay, so you tell me, like, what are your goals? You're from Mexico City.
Yeah. Well, originally I'm a graphic designer, and
Okay.
I started being a full-time illustration about 6 years ago. But I would like to apply to jobs that are in the film industry, and also like the book illustration.
Okay. Great.
That's it.
Yeah. Overall, like, great first impression. This is great. Like, I like your webpage. I love these little. I think there are some that are like really, really strong. Like this piece, I love this. Yeah, book illustration. That's what that and animation, film animation. Like, seems like that's kind of the stuff that you're going towards. I think this piece is cool. I think it feels a little unfinished, especially in the background.
Yeah.
So I would but I like the moodiness of it, just having some of that moonlight hit this tree as well. But it's great. This is awesome too. I think it feels like it just needs a little bit more work because it looks like a little unfinished as well. But yeah, but I like it. I like it a lot. So this, amazing. Yeah, this is. I love this piece. I love the design. I love the drawing. Yeah, everything. I love the brush strokes. I love the dragonfly, how they're designed. I love the face. There's nothing wrong with this. Actually, the only thing, not wrong with it, but the only thing I would say is that tangent. That's it. There's a tangent right there.
Okay.
So just be careful of that. But amazing. This too, great. Are these personal pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great. I want to see. How's that?
All of them are personal almost.
Yeah, like I want to see either an animated film with these styles that you're doing, or a children's book or something, like, because these are really awesome. And I just noticed that ant. That's so great. So that's great. This is cool. Let's go through this. And these are okay. That's cool. This is really nice. I like this drawing. I think this says it's a collaboration, right? This one, but that's really, really good. The drawing, the coloring, rendering, very cool. This is another really, really strong piece. The rendering is really nice, especially like right there. Like I could feel the heat of that sun hitting that panda. with the little reds on the edges. So very nice. Yeah, very good. And these are just fun. These are really fun illustrations. Great painting. Really, whoa, that's cool. I didn't see that GIF. Okay, so yeah, for these, like, because you have some interest in doing like realistic stuff as well, right?
It was just more like studies when I started painting, but
okay,
I leave it there.
I see. I would say just be careful when you paint like realistic faces, like what, especially, I mean, for men and women, but especially for women, like every brushstroke, every line you add, like even though you might see it in the photo, but a lot of times when we paint it, we tend to exaggerate it unknowingly. So even brushstrokes like this right here and right here, they come off as like wrinkles. And like, I know that's a wrinkle, but she probably had that in the photo, but as an artist, you can edit those kind of things, right? Where it's like, because I can guarantee you the photo of this probably looks like she's younger and you just made her a little bit older, but it's overall, it's a really good painting, but it's just little things to be careful of. And, the amount of like undulations that you've created because you have like multiple shadow lines. So just be careful of that. And then the only other thing here is, because of this lighting that you have here, which might have been in the photo as well, but you've probably exaggerated it. It makes it look like this is a bump that's coming forward. So just little things. These are cool. Sometimes there's some, like when you do the realistic stuff, there's some drawing problems a little bit, where some things are a little off, and it might be somewhat in the photo, but I remember some of these, at least this actor and stuff. So like this eye feels a little lower than this one. This that's probably a scar, I think. But anyways, yeah, this one's really cool. There's something about this eye that feels. Anyways, those are just nitpicky stuff, but those are cool. So yeah, I think overall you have really good stuff, and this is your strength right here. This stuff and all that cartoony stuff you're doing, like great. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, this is traditional. This is all in your sketchbook. Yeah, these are really good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Ramen. Oh, look at my shirt. Ramen. Yeah. So I think it's just, let me go back to the overall. You have really good stuff. I think it's just honing in on which direction you want to go, because I think you can definitely easily go into like the children's book, illustration, that kind of world. It's just a matter of getting your stuff out there and maybe doing more, because right now you have a lot, like all this stuff is good up here, but and then it starts going to a different style a little bit here. This is great. Then you have some realistic stuff. I would, generally speaking, I'd probably just take this out because it's not really like, these are much stronger, and plus these were just like exercises you did. It's not really like what you're trying to do. So I would focus in on the ones that were like really strong and just keep on creating those in that direction. And then, I hope that helps a little bit. Yeah. Do you have any other questions before we move on?
I want to know what can I add? Like, I don't know if keyframes are a good idea to add to my portfolio to make.
I think. What to add? I think it's really adding, like if you can add several more of these, this one right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is your best one. I love this one too, but this one, if you could do more here, because this one not only does children's book, but it also, like if you wanted to get into feature animation, cartoons, because your design is really good, your rendering is really good, the illustration is really good. This accomplishes everything in all different fields. So do more of this, because this is amazing.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Let me
so
know
much.
when your book comes out, because I would love to buy one.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I think Amy is next. And get rolling on these.
Hi.
Hey, Amy, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
I am very good. So tell me, you have 5 to 10 years experience? This is...
Just 5. Well, I just got 5 years experience.
And you're working at a video game company?
Yep, I'm working at a video game company in Edmonton, Canada.
Awesome. Everyone can see this is an example of a WoW portfolio. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And then what are your goals? What are you trying to do?
I'd really like to make it to live action film.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pursuit I'm in right now.
Nice. And then are you more, because you do characters and creatures, but do you have a preference?
I like characters and creatures both pretty well the same. I do a bit of environments and props and stuff on the side, mostly just as a requirement of my job. But
Yes.
Characters and creatures, definite passion.
Okay, so it's similar to me, because when I worked on God of War, same thing. I did some environments, props, but mainly characters, creatures. So going to live action, I always have to cater my advice based on your goals, right? So live action, I would say, again, your work there's not much to critique because everything is like really strong, but it's more about the overall critique of knowing that you want to go into live action. You need to show that you can do a whole array of designs, right? So the types of films that are out there, because right now, obviously, that's why it's pretty clear that like these are video game designs, because that has that video gamey feel, but showing that you can do real world stuff, the fantastical stuff that's more live action fantasy. I think just doing different genres and then showing that you can do the full realism. I see stuff like this and stuff like this, and any of these can be in a live action film. So you're already certainly on your way. And this amazing, this one right here. Look at this thing. I want to show everyone. Why is it taking so long? I clicked on it, but like, wow. Like, yeah, that should be in a film. So you definitely have creatures and these eccentric characters down. So there's no worries there. Internet is bogged down. And your creatures are cool too. And these are somewhat realistic, real world stuff, right? So these are cool. I think it's just more showing one. Definitely, I think you need more of the character range.
Okay.
In your portfolio that shows that. Like I think you have very cool humanoid creatures, which is cool, like what I was talking to that other artist about. And you definitely have your creatures down. I mean, this stuff is great right here.
Oh, thank you.
So I think it really just comes down to doing, and then even when you do your more realistic characters like this, and I know this was for a video game, but since you want to go into live action, make sure that when you build your portfolio for live action, you make them really realistic, because this is a stylized realism right here.
Yeah.
So I think you're aware of that, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so I would do some that whatever genre. If you like comic book movies, you can do some comic book characters. If you want to do more fantasy, but do some in your portfolio that shows that you're not just a video game, stylized, a little bit semi-stylized kind of artist, right?
Okay.
But yeah, besides that, like, yeah, there's nothing to critique. Like, these are great. So all you need to do is just create those pieces, because I know you obviously can. Because that's what companies do, because they're always like, let's say there's a new Clash of Titans movie, they're going to look for someone that can do armor and Greek style, Roman style, that kind of thing. And then obviously creatures you can do, and then they're like, oh, she does a little bit more of that kind of, what is this? I don't really know how to categorize it. I don't know the category of this, but it does have this feel that you have besides these right here. But yeah, does that make sense? Do you have any other like specific questions?
No, I think I understand. Like more characters, more realistic characters in like a range of genres.
Genres and styles. Yes. Yeah, when I say styles, yes, genres is better.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, but you're definitely on your way. It's really great stuff.
Oh, thank you. That's very much appreciated. Thanks for your time.
Sure. Thank you so much, Amy. All right. Radic. I think Radic is next.
Andy.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Did I say your name right?
Radic, yeah.
Radic. Okay, so tell me what your goals are.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I've been in animation for a long time, doing backgrounds for the most part, but, always keeping character effects, props on the side. So I'd like to kind of move it toward doing this in animation or games, fighting game, RPG, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, this again, this is a strong portfolio, and it immediately off the bat, you're like, okay, style, right? You definitely have a style, and that's great. I mean, that's a lot of us are trying to find that style. Like that's a common question everyone gets. How do I find my style? Right. You found your style.
Your style finds you.
Yeah, exactly. And it has certainly found you. Like you're not struggling in that department. So like, geez, these are awesome. They almost look traditional, but they're probably digital, right?
Yeah, it's digital. Yeah.
But it has this like marker feel, which is
I used to love markers in school, so I try and bring a little bit of that like analog feel back into the digital. So
and that's part of the charm of your work, because I mean, this feels like it's almost like, did he marker this? But I was pretty sure it wasn't. But yeah, exactly what you said. It looks great.
Now, having some strong style, is that like a detriment if you're trying to be more broad, like a broad appeal, than trying to focus on maybe your edge with your style?
You're gonna get different answers from different artists, and it all comes down to the angle. Like if you ask somebody like Mike Mignola, what do you think he's gonna say? Right? So obviously comic book artists, and then a lot of animation artists, they made whole careers off of their style, right? And that's for a lot of artists, that's their dream and goal, is to be the Glenn Keane, to be the Toph. What's his name? Not Toph. Oh shoot, Space Ghost artist. What's his name again? Toth. Sorry. Anyways, but you know what I'm saying, like all those artists. So that's why I don't just answer right away one way, because it's a completely legitimate for you to continue in this style and to try to make a whole career out of it. Because plenty of people have. I don't know if you know a guy named Jeff Matsuda. Him and I started our careers at Rob Liefeld's studio when we were in our early 20s, and he made a whole career off of his style. And whole shows have been made off of his style, right? I went a different direction, where I had a style and I did comic books for 10 years, but then I decided I wanted to get into concept art, doing video games and film, knowing that I had to essentially get rid of my style, like the stylized shorthand stuff, and try to go towards a more realism, right? Because a lot of video games and obviously films are that.
Right, yeah. That's where I feel kind of like I'm being pushed toward that, just to find an opportunity. But I want to hang on to something I've been developing for this long and try and find a home for it. Yeah.
So it really comes down to you. Like you can continue down this path. One negative side of that is it will be harder to try to find even video game jobs, because when they see this, they're gonna be like, oh my God, if this was a show, or if there was an art book, I would buy it from Radic. but we're God of War. Like we have no use for this,
right?
You know? Or Marvel Studios is like, I love this style, but you know, it doesn't fit what we do, so we can't hire him. And that, there's plenty of artists that I follow on Instagram that I love their style, and I follow them, right? But it's just you know, but I can't hire them because it's just, you know, it's not what we do. So it really comes down to you. Like if you really want to do live action, then sure, you need to start building a portfolio that shows that you're not only capable of doing stylized caricature people, that you can do realism, that you can do realistic rendering as well.
Right.
Oh my god, I love this. Oops, what just happened? I love that. You know, like I want to see a whole animated movie or a video game and play this.
Yeah.
So
because I love doing posing too. Like I studied a lot of life drawing
totally.
to try and understand how people actually move. Because we only ever see like just a nice, you know, maybe a turnaround of a character, but getting a sense of how they move through the scene.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Like, I'm glad I found you, because this is like I'm gonna be following you because this is great stuff. So it's really up to you to answer that. But if you do want to go into live action and more like different types of things, then you do have to show it in your portfolio.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I did the same thing. I knew I couldn't show my Tomb Raider comic book Top Cow artwork and get a job at Sony Santa Monica. So I had to build a portfolio that shows I can do more realistic creatures and characters.
Very cool.
All right. Well,
yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah, everyone follow Radic and all the artists that you're seeing here. But good luck on your stuff, and keep in touch.
That. Cheers.
All right, man. All right, see ya. All right, man. Everyone, so impressive. Who do we have next? I think Daniel. Am I wrong? I am right. What's up, Daniel? You are muted. There you go. Oh, it went away. There you go. Oh, no. Uh-oh. We don't hear you. Oh, there's something. I hear something playing with your connection. Ow. Ow. Should we jump to someone else and then come back to Daniel while you try to figure that out? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're trying to go towards.
Well, I do a little bit of everything, but I dream to become part of a AAA project like a movie or games. Right now, I'm working in for video games as a freelance concept artist and character designer.
Great. Okay. All right. Let's just look at some of your stuff. This is you have some really cool stuff going on. That's a cool painting.
Well, that was fan art for a contest.
Whoa, this is a huge piece. I would suggest, like, because I think I noticed this. Some people do this where they upload such a high res version of their image that I can never see it in its entirety. So you don't want people seeing your piece like this, you know.
Okay,
I can't. I want to see the whole thing, but I can't zoom out of it. So that's just a small critique there. Some cool stuff. I think. I just want to click through some so we can just get a feel for what we're looking at. Yeah, I want to pick specific ones. Here we go. Oh, I went to this page. What is this? Oh, let's go to characters. I'm going to focus on your characters, okay?
Okay.
Since that's my forte. So first thing I'll say is, you have some really cool stuff, but I don't think this is like your best piece right here.
Okay.
So you want this piece to be the grabber, right? The one that like will bring people in. So just because there's a little bit of like some drawing awkwardness in certain places. So yeah, I would just try to find something that's a stronger piece. Let's see, because you have other stronger pieces. This is cool. That's pretty cool. So here's an example of like too big, right? So something that I noticed in your artwork is, oh geez, I keep on going back to here. It's a tendency that I know a lot of artists do, where it's like it essentially becomes over rendering, and it's similar to, I forgot who it was, but where like this piece in particular. I wish I want to bring this into Photoshop because I can't see the whole thing. Copy image. Let's see, new. Okay, so if we look at this piece, if you squint your eyes, it gets really confusing because there's the same critique as that other artist, where the quality of this is the exact same quality as that, is the same quality as that. Like everything's the same, you know. So there's no variation. Because of that, the eye doesn't know where to go. And if you squint your eyes, like if you make this into a thumbnail, where does your eyes go?
To the tail maybe, but you can say what's that? Yeah.
So this is where your eye goes, right? That tail. But I'm pretty sure that's not where you want your eye to go. You want your eye to go here, right? So there's a couple of reasons why that's happening. One, obviously, the brightest. You get the brightest bright with the darkest dark right next to each other. So your eyes are always going to go to contrast. The other reason why your eye goes there is because of the drawing. Because like it's really confusing because you have your body here, you have your arm here, your head, back arm, but this back arm also touches the tail. And then you got this tail, and this is supposed to be his pelvis, but then it's also his leg. It starts getting like this leg looks like the same as this tail. So it almost looks like there's another leg right here. And then this is going right in the yeah. So you know, you want to make things clear, and then this goes right in between the legs. So that gets a little uncomfortable. But so you definitely want to break it away so that, I mean, I can't, I don't have the time to completely fix it, but you want to create like something where the tail. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can in the time that we have, but it really comes down to clarifying your silhouette, right? So the other thing is you got this arm. This is not helping either. You got this arm right here where it's exactly the same. It's hard to tell what's going on because it's connected to this right here, and there's no separation. So you need negative space to create a clear picture of what's going on. So I think you just need to create. I don't know if I should have gone down this road because I'm trying to solve this, and it's with the time we have. I don't know if I have enough time, but clarifying that, okay, I'm going to butcher your piece, but I just need to get a point across. You don't have to follow this, obviously, what I'm doing, but it's just to get a point across. So you got this and this, I don't know what the other leg is, but this one can be, you know, somehow back there somehow. The tail can maybe end here. Or the tail can just disappear like into this somewhere over here. I don't know. It's not that important. Or it just kind of goes to the end of the page. And then this arm, and you know, you have some arm here. And then you want to create negative space. So this arm, somehow you want to break it apart from the body to create. So when this is touching this part of the body, you can't tell what's going on, right? So it starts getting really confusing. And the other thing that, because you want the focus to be here, it's so close to the edge of this thing, you want to take this whole thing and you know, you can raise it up, give it some breathing room, because you want to bring this. It doesn't have to be in the middle. It could be in the rule of thirds. You know, those aren't concrete rules, but it's just it's a good rule of thumb. Maybe I pushed it out a little bit too much, but I think you kind of get the idea. Then you could have some red stuff going on. make it clear that this is a tail. And then you do your test to see if that looks good. So something like that. So just you see that. Obviously, I butchered it, but it's just more. There's more clarity. So
yeah, totally.
Sound good?
Yeah, a lot of help in that.
Awesome. Do you have any other last questions before we move on to the next artist?
Yeah. Besides that, you have any advice that you can give me about the light?
Lighting?
Yeah, about how to handle the light.
Oh yeah, I think something that I saw in this piece. So definitely like make all your images smaller, please.
Please.
Please. They're so big. It's hard to tell what's going on. Real quickly, I'll try to. So right now you have a tendency to, and a lot of artists do this, where you kind of treat every area similarly. So because of that, it just hurts the eye, because like this hand is the same quality as this, and same with the crotch. Like everything, you start fading here. But I would just try to kind of create some focal points. Like you want this head to be focal point, but right now your chest is like standing out even more than the head. So you want to, and then this even that alone right there helped a little bit. But you just want to be aware of when to push back and when to move forward. This whole area, I don't have time to like fully fix this area, but there's a fussiness in this area. You want to make this clear that this is his chest, somehow, and then the leg is going forward. So you want to create this clear. It's a similar what I was doing to that other piece, where there's a more of a clarity, where the chest is, and then where the leg is, and then creating areas where there would be shadow, and maybe this doesn't even need, that. And then the bottom of this leg would probably be just a little darker too, and just hints that it's there, especially because you want this to pop forward. So in order for this thing to pop forward, you need the things behind it to be darker, right? So that's too bright right there. So you want to kind of darken that. So you kind of pick and choose like where, and you want this to pop forward a little bit. So let's see. And then this is too bright, because you want to be careful, because you want this to be the focal point. Mm-hmm. So even though there is light hitting here, you want to just kind of be careful where, how the light falls on it. So really studying for this kind of thing, I always take a picture of myself. I get lights and I take a picture of myself, because I want to get realistic lighting. Because the viewer could always tell when something's made up versus when something has realistic lighting. So take a picture of yourself, take a picture of toys if you have it, and create that clarity. The other thing that's awkward about this, the last thing I'll say, is because of where you put it, it's so close to this edge. You could tell like you're trying to like fit it in here. So there's an awkwardness to, simply just doing this, bringing this over here, and then,
okay.
That alone, like, and then when you do the test, like that feels a lot more comfortable. That feels more comfortable than this. See that? Mm-hmm. So does that help?
Yeah, a lot. Cool. Thanks, Andy. All right, man. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Good luck. All right. We're making good progress. We're down to the last few. I think the next is Julian, if I'm not mistaken.
Woo, hey, we made it. Hi, Andy Park. Oh my God. Andy Park. Oh my God.
Thanks for your patience.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me. This is fun. Been fun.
Awesome. I hope you've been getting stuff out of it. But tell me a little bit about yourself, where you want to go and all that stuff.
Let's see. Well, trying to transition, I guess, always constantly improving, trying to transition to, Vis Dev artist, concept artist, either land more freelance gigs or something full time. Yeah, that's in a nutshell.
In what industry are you trying to be? Like more video games, live action?
I've always, it's weird. I actually studied animation, and when I finished the degree, animation was fun, but I was like, man, I really love painting and drawing. And so I kind of just really started teaching myself, to become better at as far as illustration, concept art, painting. And I just always feel like my stuff is geared towards realism. And so anywhere between film and video games is kind of where I land. But then again, I love the funness of animation, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, the funness, I'll take it. But yeah, and you're an art teacher, you said, in high school?
Yes, actually I am. So that's been the challenge, is like, all right, we got to improve. We're teaching kids. I got to improve myself. And, anything that I learn along the way, feeding it back to them, especially for those that definitely want to try to get into this industry. And then, of course, myself trying to push myself to still stay in or get into the industry. I mean, I've done some freelance stuff in the past, but.
Okay. Yeah, you got some cool stuff going on here. I think it is there's a similar critique to some of the artists you've probably been hearing, but it's the squint test. When you do a squint test on a piece like this, let me bring this into Photoshop so that we can help illustrate that. New, paste, and bam. Okay, so the squint test, or you can do this. This is another way to do the squint test, right? So obviously, that's what you see, right? That circle. At least, oops, that's the first thing you see. So with that in mind, and you have to ask yourself, was that your intention? I don't think that was, right?
I was trying to do. No. Well, that's where I have like that leading light, that directional light kind of landing. I was trying to create almost like a path using directional light and line to kind of lead towards the entrance and then up through the image.
Okay. Yeah, I think that stuff is great. But I mean, it feels like this, like you have this guy, because there's storytelling going on here, obviously, where you got this actor, and then you got this guy. So it seems like, and then of course you have the castle, but it seems like that's the point of this illustration, right? It's like whether he's going there to protect this castle from this dragon. There's some storyline going in there. But right now, obviously, this becomes the focal point. So I think that kind of stuff is great to lead the eye, but right now it becomes the focus, right? Where you get stuck there. So I think definitely one thing is just like when it goes into shadow, right? So that's already right there. It doesn't bring your eye back down here, because we don't need our eye down here, right? And this gets a little focal pointy because of the contrast. So just darken the behind here as well, right? Because we don't want our eye there. So it's almost like you take that and there you go. And you start pushing and pulling where you want your eye. So even just overall, just playing with, where you want your eye, and just kind of, I feel like you want to see this guy over here somehow more, right? This dude. So I can't do a full on
of course,
make it, but I'm just trying to get some idea of like getting here, and then probably toning down this as well, because the tendency for a lot of people when they do art is like there's whites everywhere, right? Because whether it's highlights on a face or highlights on a body, so they'll use white everywhere. So you have like whites here, you have whites here, you have whites here, whites here. So I would isolate that one to almost like a lot of people say like there should almost be there's almost never white in any reality. right? If you look at any photo, like even on a face, even though that the only one that one can get close to a highlight is that one highlight, but for the most part, there's rarely any white. It could be a relative white, like it's the brightest thing in the picture. You really want to isolate that. So just kind of isolate where you want those highlights. So getting it there, and then if you want this guy to be a focal point, then he needs to, that silhouette, there's a great opportunity to create. Doesn't have to be, definitely don't want to go white, but it's a great opportunity to bring some contrast so you can get that clear silhouette. You know, whatever
contrast on him.
Yeah, so you get whatever his silhouette is doing. I can't tell exactly, but and then there's, you know, again, I can keep on going, but it's just if that makes any sense. So it does. It helps a little. It just helps a little bit. It's not like all the solutions, but if you see before and after, just a little bit.
It does. It totally makes sense. And you're right. I know myself. I went a little too far on this one, but you're right. Everything you're saying is making sense.
Okay, cool. And then I think the last thing I'll say. So there's a similar thing that happens like in other pieces where, you know, the treatment of this is the same quality as treatment of this. So he gets lost, you know, all these characters get lost in this very, very detailed environment. And that might, unless that's the purpose of if that's the point. This one, I think it's pretty cool, but I think anytime you do a side, just straight on side, it's hard to get for it to feel dynamic. So anything you could do with camera to change angles. So I think if that dragon was more in the background and then it doesn't have to be full on like a 3/4, a little bit, like camera turned a little bit. So we're seeing the back of this guy just a tad. And then we see more of this as going towards that. Because right now he's going towards, even though he's going towards this, it kind of almost feels like he's going to the side edge of the page, going this way.
Got it.
So just to make it more dynamic. And then the last thing I'll say is, so that goes along with this, where, again, going full on sideways. So it's always hard to get something to feel really dynamic when something's just sideways or when it's something just forward, right? So getting a little bit of angles. And I think definitely because of these blasts, I'm not even I think it's somebody else shooting from off screen towards this direction.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's, I think it's definitely, there's an awkwardness to it because it's obviously that becomes the focal point, these blasts. But yeah, I think just trying to, but I feel like the point of this is more about the X-Wings. So just something to consider. But
got it.
Yeah, I wish, you know, we could spend all day just to, you know, go into full on details, but I hope that those little tidbits make sense.
Yes, they do. I definitely took some notes. Definitely control level of detail, directional lighting a little bit more, revisit angles just to make sure composition is better. Yeah.
Yeah, and mainly you want a clarity of where you want the viewer to look, right? So you have the right intention, the guiding of the eye, but play with that squint test and like zoom out. Like that's why I'm staying here, because then you know, for this piece you can tell like, okay, I'm not exactly sure where. You're not telling the viewer where they should be looking exactly.
Got it.
But cool.
I did have, I know you're pressed for time. So just with what you see, other than those things, what would you say is the industry, or like if it's games, film, which direction do you think I should push towards?
I mean, either of those are cool. I think video games is, film is a strange beast because it's like, you know, you can't just like apply to film studios. So they have unions and all that kind of stuff. So video games you can actually apply. You can, you know, there's actually internships and there's a lot more like just like opportunities. So and the stuff that you're doing is already like very like, you know, like more fantasy and all that kind of stuff. So the one thing that if you want to get into video games is just kind of being more clear on what type of artist you want to be, because right now you're not showcasing like you're clearly not showing that you're a character artist. You're not showing that you're necessarily a creature artist. And then you're not necessarily even showing that you're an environment artist, like, because you're not showing like just all these different designs on different environments and sci-fi, and because a lot of these are more storytelling, but so there's a little bit of a clearness to what you're telling the potential employer, like what you want to do at their company. So you kind of want to think about that and cater your portfolio towards that type of job.
Should I rework the portfolio? Because I noticed like you just stayed on the environment keyframes, but if you scroll down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, you're good.
I see. Okay. Yeah, this is going that direction. I think the same thing applies. Like here, my eye goes here.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably don't want that. So just be careful of where your eye goes in the pieces and the level of detail. But yeah, this stuff is cool. But okay, yeah. I guess those are environments. So it's like, I guess this shows environments, but it's not really like an environment concept portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
This is more, yeah. So I think just showing more of this stuff and showing more range, more stuff.
Okay. More range. Got it.
Cool, man.
All righty.
All right. Well,
thanks so much.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Good luck with
thanks,
your
man.
studies.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. You too. Bye. All right. We're down to our last few. I think Curtis is next. Whew. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Curtis, how's it going?
Hi, Andy. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. You want to tell a little bit about yourself and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So I just graduated from undergrad with a degree in industrial design. So I just graduated there, and I would love to get into live action concept design for films. I'm impartial to games, but I would prefer films. Although I would not mind starting as like an art department runner or like an art department assistant. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's go through your stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. You got some prop stuff going on here. That's cool. You do 3D work? Yep.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Nice. This is a cool piece. Sketches. I think. I don't know. Scale-wise, I'm not sure. Like, it seems like he's too big, but I don't know. That's just nitpicky. It's cool. This is cool. This is production-y stuff. This is not necessarily stuff that wows like portfolios, but it shows that you can do this. So this I put in the category of supplemental stuff, right? For once they get wowed with your portfolio, that kind of stuff is good. Mm-hmm. This is pretty cool. Be careful a little bit of the obviously you're photo bashing, but be careful a little bit of that the artifacting, that kind of cutout. What do you call it? That's got I forgot what they call that. That when you sharpen stuff. Mm-hmm. But so feel the thing about photo bashing, like photo bashing is totally fine, but you just got to make sure you do it well, because one thing about photo bashing is it starts looking a little strange when you start getting different qualities of photos, right? So this one feels like a really low, for some reason, like a quality, whatever this object is. Mm-hmm. and then it's right next to like a more blurry photo. So the fact that you have this is in front of this, but this is so blurry in front of this really sharp looking thing, it just doesn't connect. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel cohesive. So just be aware that when you're photo bashing, to make it real, it's a goal to make everything seem seamless, so it doesn't feel like, okay, this is just a different layer than this, and yeah, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So I do want to talk about this piece. I was talking about that. So these are cool. It's just props. Same thing happens here with the photos, right? Like So this is some kind of weird monolith thing that's here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but they just kept finding these huge steel monoliths in the news, and I thought that'd be a cool idea.
Okay, cool. One, I would try to make this look a little bit more dimensional, because right now it looks flat, right? I mean, I know it's flat, but you know what I mean. It's like right now it looks like it's just plopped in there, but to look like a real object in there. But be careful, because this is in the foreground. But look at how this photo right here is so sharp and so contrasty and so detailed. So I think that's what adds to the oddness of like, my eye goes here, but this, is so plain and I can't really tell what this is. So it's just very jarring like this. Yeah. And then be careful also, like when you have, anytime you have this kind of high contrast, like the sharpness, like how sharp this is to black to white, like your eye's going to want to go there. But, I don't think this is like really the point of this painting. So just be aware of that kind of stuff. And then that one I want to talk about as well. So I'm going to jump into Photoshop. Sure. I did a quick, I brought this. So, John, here we go. So similar to some other stuff that you want to be careful of being it becomes static, because even though this is an environment and there's obviously perspective, you kind of lose perspective and a sense of dynamics, because when everything's just straight up and down, right? Because everything becomes like that, it becomes a little stagnant, and everything's, I hate that it does that. Everything's just that same grid. So, even doing things like the fastest solution, and not solution, but one thing you can do is, Dutching, right? So even doing something like that already is an improvement over that, but there's still more that has to be done. So I did this quick little, I did an overlay because I just wanted to draw over it. Yeah. So there, I already Dutched the angle, the horizon, rather than being straight like yours. I created that, right? So already there's like a dynamic there. Because this is the point of the painting, you can't see my cursor. The destroyer, I think really playing with that, making it enlarged, and making it feel like it's coming forward in perspective even more. Like you feel the perspective of this going forward, like that stuff is. Oh wait, I'm drawing behind it. Yeah, that stuff is stuff you want to create, right? So I brought that forward, much bigger, some behind it, and then these things can, just by turning it like that, already, and then even the sky can have the clouds. Even the clouds, you can like play with the clouds having a little bit of this. It doesn't have to be too on the nose, but the clouds can have that perspective going on as well. So even doing stuff like that. Yeah, and then you could have some sun behind that, so it's peeking through here. And then when even the blaster, when you have this, it's blasting and it's coming forward in space, right? Yeah. So once you have all that, you can see the difference between that and this. It just has this energy that I feel like is needed, right? And then you do that test. So you compare the staticness to that. So does that make sense?
Yeah. See, like this is another big problem studying industrial design instead of entertainment design, is because like I would have no idea that could have reinvigorated the piece. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's composing. That's playing with camera angles, studying films, studying shots in films. It's always a good thing. And then the last thing I'll go through with you is this. Here we go. So similar issue where, actually sometimes we don't have to Dutch this, right? Like that's where you probably thought I was going, but there's certain things that are going on here where the photo bashing stuff, right? Where you have, one, there is a staticness because you have the action is going forward this way, and then the horses are going forward this way. one, I think the horses could be horses are fine. They could be a little bit more dynamic, but it's fine. But it's more the people. Like, look, this guy's straight up and down. These guys are all straight up and down. You know, they should be posed in a way where their heads are forward and they're like, yeah, you know, and they're like their guns are forward like this, right?
Yeah.
But they're more like that, like, so because they're leaning towards the action. The other thing is, you know, I feel like you can just create more dynamics. I mean, this guy kind of stands out for some reason because he's just, I guess he's not running forward, but he's kind of like charge, right? That guy maybe.
Yeah.
But it's kind of awkward. So I would just have like, to make this more powerful piece, I'd have more horses going forward, right? And then the other thing, last thing, because you put a photo of these trees here, that they're so detailed, it makes everything stagnate because this whole keyframe is about action, and yet this is like stopping all the action. So this is what I did, you know, just real fast. Here's a quick. I changed I lifted them up perspective-wise a little bit. I blurred. You would have blur on the background. I suggested, you know, more horsemen back there. So you just, and then lean these guys forward more, and then you just get this more dynamic feel, chaotic of what, when you think of those war movies, them charge, you could kind of hear the, you know, galloping versus, you know, a little bit more stagnant. So
absolutely.
So that is, I think, it. But yeah, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. See, like, this is you know, kind of a problem I have with my portfolio. It's just like I don't know like the next step to like top off the quality. So that's, yeah, I am going to brainstorm this fall.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I think we probably just went over this, but I guess my last question was what's the main problem with my portfolio, and that's just being too static with composition, right?
Composition, those are definitely things, but I think it's right now you don't have a lot of stuff right in your portfolio when I'm looking at this. So right now, because of this, like the whole point of a portfolio is that when someone sees it, they can tell what kind of artist you are, you know, and what kind of artist you're trying to be, what you're selling. Like, I'm a character artist, I'm a, you know, and I'm a keyframe artist, I'm a prop artist. Right now, maybe you're going towards props, which is actually your props are the best thing, right? It's industrial design, that's what you said, right?
Yes.
So, but if that's the case, you need to sell that, because right now it's like not clear. Right now I see a little bit of everything, so it's a little confused on what you're trying to portray yourself as. So definitely, I think that's the main thing, is to try to hone in on which direction you want to go, and then make this page sell that, to really show that.
Definitely. I did fall down the environment rabbit hole a bit, and so I am trying to get back into my strong suit of props. So
yeah. And that's the last thing I'll say to you is, like, it's totally great to expand, because I've done environments too. But if you look at my ArtStation page, you won't see any, but I've done it even professionally for God of War. But I'm only going to show my very best stuff, because you know, people tend to remember your worst stuff, you know. So it's like you want them to remember only good stuff. So you want to hold on to that stuff. Like, if a company says, "Hey, do you also do environments?" Then you go, "Haha, here you go." But you first want to get into the door, and by getting your foot in the door is showing your best stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, Curtis. I wish you luck, and definitely keep in touch. And I look forward to seeing your artistic journey.
Can do. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Curtis. All right, down to the last two. Do we got this is Jana, right?
Hi.
How's it going?
So good to see you, Andy Park.
Oh, good to see you. Thank you for your patience. You want to tell a little bit about yourself and what you're trying to do?
Yep. So I'm a high school student eager to pursue the arts, wanting to break into the gaming industry or the animation film industry. And
Okay.
yeah, I can most of my portfolio consists of character illustrations, storyboards, and visual development. Right now, you're looking at the character section.
Okay. And what do you prefer, characters or environments, or what do you prefer?
Definitely, I prefer storyboards currently.
Okay. Yeah, this stuff is great. Oh, and you're in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this stuff is cool. I won't go over your storyboards because I'm not a storyboard artist, but that's great. So I'm gonna critique you more on your character, since that's my strong suit, right?
Understood.
So I think you have a lot of great things going, and especially you're in high school, so you're only going to get better and better. But there's certain things that I see that you just want to be careful of, like. Maybe I'll bring this into Photoshop real fast. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So you have a lot of great things going on. This face right here is really great. The colors, really strong stuff going on. Where it gets a little fussy is a couple things. Like one, this arm. So you have this arm that kind of connects, to here, right? So usually when it comes to the clothing, you might have even referenced, right? Did you look at reference? Yeah. So that, and I think I could tell that. So that's a great thing. I always advise people to reference, but the thing about clothing, and it's not like I'm a master at it either, but the more you start referencing and learning about folds, you'll start learning how to edit. Because right now, I could tell you've probably drew every single fold that was in that that whatever photo. And the thing that you want to make clear is, that's why I drew that arm, is that even though you have those folds in the clothing, you want to make sure that you're describing that arm as well. So this is the point where it's, you have that here, but you want maybe just like simplify a little bit, right? So you just have a little bit, not as many folds, and then even though you don't see an elbow, you can have a suggestion of just like kind of where it turns. It doesn't have to be a hard point. And then because we're looking up at this, even though it might technically go this way, it always helps to go in the same direction. I mean, you want to turn it to kind of really sell the perspective that you're at. So I mean, there can be more than I'm just doing right now, but just doing something a little bit more simplified than like as many. And then there's a softness that you have in your drawings, so you want to be careful. I could tell you reference hands, which is great, but hands are challenging. So you want to, first you want this curve to go that way rather than right now yours going that way. But you want to kind of, I'm not going to draw it, but just soften the hands a little bit, because right now the hands are really they're kind of big and really kind of strong. But I don't know. Yeah. And it's, strong can be good, but reason why I bring that up.
Character, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And here's, oh shoot, sorry. Here's a good where's that piece? I saw it somewhere. Yeah. Where are you? Maybe it's somewhere else. You had this one piece that was like, you had this hand that was really good, but I don't know why I don't see it anymore. Anyways, so that's the one thing I wanted to bring up to you. The second thing that I see consistently in your work to be careful of is proportion on the faces. So where's the one that I want to, sorry, I'm making everyone dizzy. So maybe this, I'll bring this up. Which one should I bring up? Maybe this one. So you want to be careful because it's the same thing. You might have referenced, am I right or no on this one?
For that one, I didn't.
Okay. So the only reason why I said that is because you do have this. Obviously, you have a cartoony style. It's somewhat not fully anime, but it's like cartoony, right? So there's a softness to it, but then you do these like angles that kind of contrasts to the style that you're doing. Not to say like you can't do that. It's my opinion, but I feel like, you know, it would benefit more if you were to soften like these angles, so it's not, oh, maybe I'll do this rather than that. I'll do this, might be better.
Oh yeah, I think for that character, I thought that a strong jawline was part of her appearance.
Oh, see, I think you could still have. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. You I want to hear what you have.
Yeah, I think a strong jawline is totally fine. But I see it in a lot of your characters, so that's the only reason why I'll bring it up. It's just to soften a little bit, because it tends to it's a little jarring because your style, and then sometimes you want to be careful of getting things to feel like a little too mushy. I don't know what the right words are, but like structurally, like things start getting a little like this eye is lower than this eye, you know, or proportionally. I think it's fine that you do tend to do a very thick neck. I think that's fine, but it's whether you realize it or not, it is a little. It's different than how normally when, you know, people draw cartoony characters. And again, that's not a rule that you can't do something that's different, but it's just something that I'm pointing out, and you can ignore what I say, you know. But it's just something that I noticed in a lot of your drawings where it's I shouldn't do this with Liquify, but I can just copy and paste it. But there is a little bit of a structural stuff that feels somewhat awkward, especially we're looking up at her. So I'm just trying to bring in stuff that's like a little bit more, oops.
It's already looking better.
Yeah, so I mean, just, you know, you can do more, but just, you know, so you could take that or not. However, it's just my opinion, but it's because I see it in a lot of, like, here you could see it's fine to have this kind of, you know, shape, but just be aware that I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that, you know, you do that a lot, which is fine, but as long as you're doing it intentionally, you know, because I just don't want you to do stuff that's not intentional, right?
Right.
And then, you know, continually work on the hands, you know, because I think hands and the faces are going to be like the two things that people look at. But this stuff is great. Like this stuff is good. Once this stuff is like, you know, you get these hands to be strong, like this piece will be really strong, because so much of it is about these hands. But this head is really great. You know, this composition is really cool. Yeah. Do you have any other? Oh, this is it. I was trying to find this.
Yeah,
like this is amazing. Like this is like, whoa! Look at those hands.
Oh,
like,
I think I know where that is. If you want a closer look, it's in the character. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was in the characters. Maybe not.
It must be because it's like black and white and it's blending into the background.
Oh, okay. But I guess we saw it there. But oh, this is the same page. Oh, right there. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, so big. Yeah, this is great. I mean, this. I don't know if you're copying something. Were you copying something here?
Oh,
this
no.
looks. Okay, this is really good.
That was my peak of my hand drawings.
Oh yeah. So keep on. If you can continue to get your hands to be this quality, you know, you'll do well, because that is strong. Everything about this is really strong. But yeah. Besides that, I think just yeah, keep on working. I mean, you're in high school, so you're definitely on your way. Definitely more. You're going more towards like animation or comic books or whatever, like that. You know, the anime, all that kind of style. So yeah. Anything else? Last things? I think we're good. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jana. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck with your studies. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So based on my portfolio, I just want to get your advice on what direction you would recommend that I would go in. Because I might have already plans on the future, but maybe there's a part in the animation industry or the gaming industry that I might be more suitable for.
I think, I mean, continue doing your drawings or illustrations, characters, all that stuff. But you also said you like storyboards, right?
Yeah.
So storyboards is definitely, like I have a lot of friends doing storyboards, and yeah, this stuff is, I did look through your storyboards, and this stuff is great, So I think storyboards is definitely one. I mean, you're already doing this stuff. I don't know many high school people already doing like storyboard stuff, and you're playing with angles. You have a good sense of storytelling. Like, if anything, this is great. This is like some of the strongest stuff.
Thank you.
So yeah, if you like storyboards, I would totally encourage you to keep on going in this direction, and then continually work on your characters and your paintings as well. And you could always do both, but yeah, this is not a bad way to go. This is great.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jana. And I guess I'll... Huh?
It's an honor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye. All right. So we are down to our final artist. And this artist, he submitted, and I was frankly shocked. I was like, what? Why did he submit? Because he's like a industry professional, worked on some of the biggest projects out there. So this is for all of you to see how to do it right. So get in here, Greg.
Hey,
what's
Andy.
up? How's it going?
Very well. Thanks for that intro. That was pretty awesome.
I'm like, what are you doing in here?
Hey, I would love to get your opinion on my work just as much as anyone else would. I'm really happy that you do these things. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We definitely, because I've met you, but we never really got to hang out or really talk. So
yeah.
I think probably at Comic-Con, right?
It's always been in passing at random events that we pass each other. So it's nice to finally have a little sit down with you.
Yeah, and we definitely, got to get together, get Phil, Bute, and everyone, hang out one of these days, get lunch or something. But
absolutely.
But on to this, since you did ask, this is for all you people watching. Greg has worked on these projects, so you've all heard of them. So there's not much to critique. It's more of this is a showcasing amazing talent. Yeah, look at this. Jeez. But you did ask, so I have just a few things, but it's really just it's more nitpicky stuff. There's not, you already have it down. You're a professional. So but I just want to show people some stuff that you're working on. But yeah, look at Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, awesome stuff. I love these. These are so cool.
The skates were definitely fun.
Yeah, and these are great. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that one's really cool. I really like that. Let's see. Let's go back. Portfolio.
It's also I've got a splash page on the home page, if that's easier.
Oh.
Got a whole bunch of stuff on there.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. This is how you do a portfolio, people. Okay. Oh, look at that. You just did that just now?
I did.
What if just came out?
I did that like the morning after. I don't do work outside of work, but when it strikes, I just go for it. And Wanda seems to be that inspiration. So
I understand. Like doing work outside of work. Like we have time for that.
Never.
Okay, yeah, this is great. So yeah, this is how to do a portfolio right. Obviously, you've been working how long in the film industry and TV?
Probably about 7 years total, and about 5 or 6 of those years have been in costumes and working as a concept artist.
Awesome. And where are you based out of?
California. When I say I'm maybe 5 blocks away from where Phil lives and where Anthony lives, it's literally 5 blocks.
Nice. Okay, well, I just have a few things, not
Please.
much, but so what should I start with? Let's see. So I started something. So I'm gonna start with this one.
Okay.
Where's Photoshop? So already awesome, professional. Like these are just. Keep in mind, people, I'm nitpicking at this point because
Please.
Greg asked.
Please do.
So it's for here. The only things that I see are. Let's see. What did I do here? So because we're, the camera, the horizon is somewhere kind of here, right? I think chest level. So as we're going down, we're looking down at the shoes, as you can see, because we can see a lot of the ground. So things like this, where and sometimes it happens in real life, right? Where things turn in a way where it's like, but you and I know that, like when we look at a photo, sometimes it's like if we just drew the photo, we'd be like, that looks wrong.
Yeah.
So as artists, we have that liberty. So I just see that. I just turned that.
There you go. Absolutely.
So little. I told you I'm going to be nitpicking. Here's another one. So because we're looking down at her hip area.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes clothing can actually turn this way and all the ripped pieces. But because we want to sell, when it's an illustration, things become like oddly awkward when if a photo did that, you wouldn't question it. But illustrations get scrutinized. So for something like that, I would turn those not striations, those fabric, whatever, the strings the other way, right?
The little tears,
so So there's that. What else can I nitpick? Focal point, obviously here, and it is here. This is totally a nitpick. Just I would tone that just a tad. I might have done too much, but that's just, that doesn't hurt. Also because this leg theoretically is behind this leg in space. It's very subtle. So this can be a little, this is brighter than this. So that's why I made that a little, also to sell that that hip is, going back in space.
Yeah.
So that's another subtle thing. And then here, this area, it gets a little fussy because I'm not exactly sure what that red thing is here, but and because of this pom clothing shoulder thing is, we lose her form, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, I think it's just getting some more clarity, like getting rid of that whatever that was, and then obviously like you're not going to see this blue line, but it's to anything to suggest that. So I think that just helps because your eye will continue that, right?
Yeah.
So that because this pom things, what do you call this?
I call it the confetti jacket. It's all
confetti jacket.
Okay. Caution tape.
Okay. So it's because you have flow, this is a good opportunity just to and because it makes this very solid piece, and because it's confetti, it's individual strings, why not just add a couple like flaring out, right? Just to sell, and just to get rid of that, very concrete shape, right? So bam, right there. Another thing is because I know it will do this, but because we get the back arm and the foreground arm all in one place. Anything we can do to help sell that that arm is going forward. So one, I will do that. I'll just turn it ever so slightly this way, because when you have these, these curves, you lose any sense of like gesture, right? Because it's like a equal curve on both sides. So once you do that, at least you have a little bit of like, this one's a bigger curve, and then it's a little bit less, and then to help sell even more, just barely
knock
darkening
that shoulder back.
Yeah, so this is how much change I did. But
no, but that brings it to a more concrete place. That's awesome.
Yeah, but again, already a very successful. This one, already a cool piece. One thing I will say is, especially for these like more very Captain America iconic kind of characters, like the one thing that so already strong, but I think what can make it even stronger is to get away from the straight up and down, because his body's everything's kind of like a tube, and everything's square. So you lose dynamics even down the legs. Is essentially a straight up and down. It angles a little bit, but I think we can push those kind of things even more. So this is kind of what I did. Gotcha. So I'll go through that. So I just did a liquefy. That's what this layer is right here, and I just so ever so slightly just angle it. Sometimes you can have a straight up and down, but why not just ever so slightly, right? And then so now you have that angle, and then you have a little bit of that angle, and then this is no longer in the middle, the belt buckle, so it's off centered. So that's good, and then that'll cause that, and then from there the legs, because of that, just has a little bit more of a flow, like that, right? So it's ever so slightly versus just straight up and down. So it just creates a little bit of gesture. And then lighting wise, I might have gone too dark here, but just to suggest, because you've established this really strong lighting, to suggest, to kind of keep it all cohesive, that the lighting's strong here, the face, because right now, and I know that happens a lot with, I know you're using a photo for the face and you're suggesting that there's shadows, but I think pushing a little bit more to match what's going on, because you got this really strong, left to right lighting. So, getting a little bit of shadow into the nose, different areas. And then a lot of times when because with photos, we tend to play with hue, saturation, all that kind of stuff, or levels or curves, and things start getting to a white, a very pale. So bringing back a little bit of the color into the face. And then this is just on the legs, subtle lighting, because you established that there's some fire down there. So it's getting a little bit of that gesture versus before and after. So
I see it. Now it looks weird going back to the straight up and down.
I mean, those things happen, right? Like
yeah.
And then you see it even more like when you flip it. So I'm sure you flip a lot, but I always flip, because you look at one way for so long, and once you flip, then you see like, oh, maybe it'll look stronger if you give it a little, just subtle. Like I only went subtle here. Like you can go way more, right? This leg can go all the way out to here, right?
Yeah.
So that's just one example. Last thing I'll talk about, this dude. So, and this is fast, and it goes along with that, the photo, bringing in the photo of the head, which is which is part of the job. But because you've established this lighting, he's by a window, really strong lighting coming in from this direction. But when I see his face, he's really well lit universally. There's a subtle shadow here, but it's like there was a separate light only for his face that doesn't adhere to the rest of him, because you got this strong shadow over here, even his neck, and like you see the form, like you see lighting here. Obviously, this is from the window, but so that's why you can justify. So this is nitpicky. Like it works, but I think just doing something like that, it's subtle, but it matches this side lighting more.
Absolutely.
The focus is still going to stay here. I didn't do so many shadows, and that's just literally just a hue and saturation thing, right? That I did. So that's it.
That's awesome, though. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you had any other like specific questions, or.
I mean, as someone who I've been in costumes for so long, and we're so we have so many restrictions on like pose and how much we can turn the body, and we kind of get locked into these boxes. But as someone who aspires to work at Marvel Vis Dev and Disney one day, is there anything that you could see that I could essentially add to this splash page that would make me more of an attractive hire for Vis Dev? Is it keyframes? Is it better posing, lighting? What would you suggest that I can try and work on?
I mean, you're right around the corner. I think it's you're there. It's just I think, as Vis Dev, the other part of our job is keyframes, and we know that through the years we've discovered, and it's a hard one because not everyone has that skill set, because keyframes are a whole different beast, right? Because you're doing it requires acting, you gotta have your actor, and it requires dynamics, because a lot of times the keyframes are people fighting, storytelling, and not everyone has that skill set. So a lot of character designers, they have a whole career of standing poses, right?
Yeah.
And I get tired of that, because my majority of my job is doing character designs, and I'm just like, you can't even do a side profile pose, because then you can't see the costume. So it's always like a 3/4 all the time. So that's why I love doing keyframes, because I'm like, finally get to do other things besides a dude or a woman standing all the time with beautiful lighting all the time.
I get asked for, some designers will just sometimes say, just walking forward. And I'm like, please no.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
anything.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's the job. They don't, a lot of times they just want to see what are they going to wear? They're not so concerned about the illustrative quality, right? I know definitely. I know we definitely value like the illustrative quality of the designs as well. So it's like, and you got that like this, like that's awesome. Like all these are really great. So it's kind of hard to answer, because like you have everything. I can't talk about genre. You're doing all the different genres. You don't really do creature work, do you?
No, I've never. It's one of those doing work outside. I would have to definitely jump into it. I think the Wanda and the zombie Wanda and that creature from Power is the first time I've ever really gotten into something quote unquote creature-y.
I see. Yeah, and it's not necessary, not like there's a ton of creature stuff that we do anyways. So I think character-wise, there's not much to say. Like you're doing good stuff. It's just I think trying out some keyframe stuff wouldn't hurt, because that's a whole different muscle that not everyone has flexed. And it's challenging. It's challenging because it's our keyframes are different than like art departments and other usually when you think of keyframes in the film industry, it's usually more about the environments. And the characters are secondary, or they're really small in the image. For Vis Dev, the characters are key. That they're the purpose of the keyframe, because we're there to sell the heroes, the villains, the main moments of the movies. And for these comic book movies, it's all about the characters. So I would try your hand at doing along the lines of this, because this essentially is a keyframe. But you can try different scenarios, fighting ones, because there's always going to be a time for fighting. And the other thing is like acting, right? Like facial expressions, because we're so used to just doing ready 1 2 3 say cheese, or not cheese, like like the posed, everything's posed, like they're looking at the camera,
portrait.
But I love stuff like this where it looks like it's a moment rather than just always only looking right at the camera, right? So this stuff is great. Just so I'll do both, like sometimes look at the camera and other times not. So I don't know. Besides that, I think that's about it.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming out. Let's get together and maybe we can chat more later.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And thank you on behalf of all the artists that you looked at today. These are immensely helpful for anyone that's looking to just better their work. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg. Stay safe.
Take care, Andy.
I'll see you later. Bye. Let's see. All right. Well, we went a little over, but I think that was good. I appreciate everyone that are out there checking this out. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Thank you for everyone who submitted, and certainly for the people who appeared today, put themselves out there, because that's not always an easy thing to put yourself out there and show the world your artwork. But and you saw a whole range today. So from some from high school to people who are seasoned veterans. So and that's kind of what I wanted to showcase today. So you guys can all get a kind of broad view of all the different types of styles, different abilities, genres. I wanted to encourage you guys all, keep on doing amazing work. You can follow me on my social media at Andy Park Art. I'm on YouTube. You know, I will try to do more tutorials and stuff like this. Of course, my job at Marvel Studios, you know, keeps me really busy because there's a lot of stuff coming up. If you guys haven't watched Shang-Chi yet, go watch Shang-Chi. Thank you to my moderators, and Sean, go follow him at the MCU Fan Show podcast, and Adam at Heroes Reforged on YouTube. And until next time, I guess I will see you guys later. Take care. Bye.